Have you ever watched this happen in real time? A beautiful, intelligent, accomplished woman, someone who could have her pick of partners, becomes completely obsessed with a man who barely acknowledges her existence. He's indifferent. He's inconsistent. He's emotionally unavailable. And she can't stop thinking about him. Meanwhile, there's another man, attentive, consistent, clearly interested, and she barely notices he exists. It makes no logical sense until you understand the psychology behind it. Today, we're unpacking one of the most counterintuitive dynamics in modern dating, why women become addicted to men who act like they're nothing, and more importantly, what this reveals about female psychology, male strategy, and how to navigate this without playing games or becoming emotionally unavailable yourself. Let's start with the most powerful psychological mechanism at play here: intermittent reinforcement. This is the same principle that makes slot machines so addictive. Here's how it works. When rewards come predictably, every time you pull the lever, you get a treat. Interest fades quickly. But when rewards come unpredictably, sometimes you get a treat, sometimes you get nothing, the brain becomes obsessed. Dopamine spikes not when you get the reward, but when you're anticipating it. Now apply this to dating. The consistently attentive man is predictable reinforcement. He texts back quickly. He's always available. He shows consistent interest. The brain quickly adapts. Okay, I get it. He's interested. Dopamine levels stabilize. The emotionally unavailable man is intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes he texts back immediately. Sometimes he disappears for days. Sometimes he's warm and engaging. Sometimes he's cold and distant. The brain goes into overdrive. When will I get the reward? What did I do to earn it last time? How can I get it again? Dopamine spikes constantly in anticipation. The result? Addiction. Literally. The same brain pathways that get activated in gambling addiction get activated in this dynamic. The second layer, the challenge principle. Human beings are wired to value what we have to work for. It's called the effort justification principle in psychology. The more effort we invest in something, the more valuable we perceive it to be. When a man makes himself too available, he removes the challenge. He makes the woman feel like she's already won him. And paradoxically, once she feels she's won, her interest begins to fade. But when a man is a challenge, when he has standards, boundaries, his own life, his own priorities, she has to invest effort. She has to be her best self. She has to work for his attention. And that effort investment makes him feel more valuable in her mind. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about actually being a person of value who has standards. There's a crucial difference. Playing hard to get is a strategy. Having standards is a character trait. The third layer, self-worth projection. Here's the uncomfortable truth. How a man treats a woman often becomes a mirror for how she feels about herself. If a high-value woman is with a man who treats her like she's everything, it confirms her self-worth. But if she's with a man who treats her like she's nothing, now she has something to prove to herself, to him, to the world. This becomes a subconscious mission. If I can make this man who treats everyone else poorly treat me well, that proves I'm special. That proves I have value. It's a validation-seeking trap. The less he gives, the more she needs to get his validation to prove her worth. And the cycle continues. The fourth layer, the fixer fantasy. Many women, especially those with nurturing personalities or certain childhood patterns, fall into what I call the fixer fantasy. They believe, if I love him enough, if I'm patient enough, if I'm understanding enough, he'll change. He'll see my worth. He'll become the man I know he can be. This is particularly potent with emotionally unavailable men because they often have potential. They're not bad people. They're just unavailable. And potential is incredibly seductive because it's a blank canvas onto which she can project all her fantasies of what could be. The consistently available man, he's already showing who he is. There's no mystery. There's no potential. There's just reality. And reality, no matter how good, is less seductive than fantasy. The fifth layer, fear of authentic intimacy. This might be the most profound layer. Sometimes women choose emotionally unavailable men because they're actually afraid of real intimacy themselves. Real intimacy requires vulnerability. It requires showing all of yourself, the good, the bad, the messy. It requires being truly seen, and that's terrifying. An emotionally unavailable man provides the illusion of relationship without the risk of true intimacy. He's there, but not really. She can be in a relationship without actually having to be vulnerable. She can tell herself she wants intimacy while choosing a partner who makes true intimacy impossible. It's a perfect subconscious setup. She gets to feel like she's pursuing love while ensuring she never actually has to face her fear of being truly known. The sixth layer, the parent-child dynamic recreation. Many people unconsciously recreate their childhood dynamics in their adult relationships. If a woman had a distant, emotionally unavailable father, she may find herself drawn to men who replicate that dynamic. Why? Because it feels familiar, because somewhere in her subconscious, she believes, this time I can make him love me. This time I can earn the affection I couldn't get as a child. It's not conscious. It's not logical, but it's incredibly powerful. The brain seeks to complete unfinished emotional business from childhood, even when doing so causes pain in the present. What this means for men. If you're a man watching this and thinking, so should I become emotionally unavailable to attract women? Absolutely not. Here's why. First, attracting women through unavailability only works for hookups and short-term obsession, not for meaningful relationships. The women who stay in these dynamics are often operating from wounding, not wholeness. Second, playing games corrupts your character. It makes you manipulative. It separates you from your integrity. And that damage to your soul isn't worth any number of dates. Third, the women who are healthiest, most emotionally mature, and most capable of real relationships, they won't tolerate emotional unavailability. They'll walk away. So by being unavailable, you're actually filtering out the best partners. The healthy middle path. So what's the alternative? How do you avoid being the too available guy without becoming emotionally unavailable? The answer is what I call emotional availability with boundaries. Here's what that looks like. You have a full life outside of dating. Your happiness doesn't depend on her attention. You have standards. You're not available to everyone. You're selective. You're consistent, but not constant. You show steady interest, but you're not always on call. You're vulnerable, but not needy. You share your feelings, but you don't make them her responsibility. You're present, but not possessive. You're engaged when you're together, but you don't cling. This is the sweet spot. Available enough for real connection, but unavailable enough to maintain mystery and self-respect. What women need to understand. If you're a woman watching this and recognizing yourself in this pattern, here's what you need to know. This addiction isn't about him. It's about you. It's about what his unavailability triggers in your own psychology. The cure isn't finding a man who's more available. The cure is doing the internal work. So you're no longer addicted to pursuit. So you no longer confuse anxiety with attraction. So you no longer need to prove your worth through winning over unavailable men. Because here's the truth. When you heal whatever makes you attracted to unavailability, two things happen. First, unavailable men stop being attractive to you. They just seem boring, limited, not worth your energy. Second, available, consistent, emotionally healthy men start becoming attractive. Their stability feels safe. Their consistency feels reliable. Their availability feels like an invitation to real intimacy rather than a threat to your independence. The final truth. The addiction to emotionally unavailable men isn't a romantic tragedy. It's a psychological pattern. And like all patterns, it can be broken. For men, The goal isn't to become what women are addicted to. The goal is to become what women need to be healthy, which is a man who's available for real intimacy, but unavailable for games. For women, the goal isn't to find a man who breaks the pattern for you. The goal is to break the pattern within yourself so you can choose partners from wholeness rather than wounding. Because at the end of the day, the healthiest relationships aren't built on addiction. They're built on mutual availability, mutual respect, mutual commitment to showing up fully, authentically, consistently. And that might not have the dopamine spikes of the chase, but it has something better: the deep, sustained fulfillment of being truly seen, truly known, and truly chosen, not as a prize to be won, but as a person to be loved. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notification for more videos. See you on the next